All right, today we are going to jump into the focus strength. We're going to talk about what is sacred about focus, and we are going to talk about what is sinister about focus. So let's dive right in. First of all, we got to understand what domain focus falls under. Now, when I first started with the strengths, I thought of focus. I mistakenly thought, well, this is probably a strategic thinking strength. Because that it just seems to me what focus is. Be strategic thinking. When we're thinking through something, whenever I've been told to focus on something, it's usually been a thinking thing. Studying or some kind of mental process. But in actuality, the focus strength is really an executing strength. It's more process driven or outcome driven than it is cerebral. It's not all up here. It's a doing strength. It's a making things happen in the real world, practicality kind of a strength. So having said that, I've told you all in the past that I am what's considered by many what's an extreme executor. And what that means is I have 5 executing strengths in my top 10. I'm definitely stacked towards the executor. No question about that. However, the focus strength is actually my number 25. I think it's actually my lowest strength in the executing category. So it is by far the lowest one there. Now, Kim has focus at number 18. So neither of us have this strength very high. It is really that flyover country for both of us. It's not something we tap into. It's not something we really utilize. It's not something that works for us, but at the same time, it doesn't really drag us down either. It's not down in the shadows, sucking our energy out or anything like that. It's just in that flyover area where we don't really think about it that much. And frankly, I haven't coached too many people with high focus. There have been a couple, but not a lot. So I don't cross this strength a lot, but I do recognize what is sacred about it. And so I'm going to share that with you a little bit right now. The focus strength, as I said before, is a process strength. And what the focus strength, a person with high focus is going to have an uncanny ability to do is to be able to determine how best to hit a target. So imagine for a minute that you're an archer and you've got a target way downfield and you can see the bullseye. It looks like a little dot, way down the field somewhere. You're going to know, if you are a person with high focus, you're going to know what steps need to be taken to hit that target right in the bullseye. You're going to make sure that happens, and you're not going to let anything distract you or get in your way of doing that. And that is what I love about this strength. So you are going to know the right way to stand. You're going to know the right way to knock your arrow into your bow, to draw it back. You may take a wind calculation if that's a factor. You're going to know everything and do everything precisely right so that you know what the outcome is going to be. You're going to hit that target downrange perfectly. And that is the gift of this strength with high focus. It's always knowing what steps have to be taken, knowing what the next step is in that process. It's as you're on one step, you're already clarifying the next step. And there's never any hesitation. There's never any slowing down of this process. It just rolls along. It just kind of flows in all reality. So this is a very powerful strength in that. People with high focus have this ability to just receive joy on hitting that next step, on keeping this high flow or this high process going. I take this step, I take this step. I put my left foot forward, I put my right foot forward. And I repeat this and I just keep moving and I don't deviate from the plan. I don't get distracted. I don't turn left. I don't turn right. I keep moving forward. That is focus. And because of that, they achieve some amazing things. High focus people, as I said, they don't really get distracted, which is a clue also as to how this strength can go sinister. So let's talk about the sinister side a little bit. There's a lot of things in this world that happen outside of our peripheral, in our peripheral vision. The people with high focus a lot of times get what we call tunnel vision. They are so focused, so laser focused on whatever goal they are working on that they lose sight of some of the other things that could be happening around them. And they lose sight of the people that they care about around them. So these are things that a person with high focus needs to be careful of. High focus people can oftentimes become obsessive. They can obsess over good things, and they can also obsess over not so good things. Maybe somebody gets an illness. Maybe somebody has something bad. They lose a job, or they have a fire or something like that. A person with high focus can become obsessive over something positive or something negative. And so we need to be careful of that and make sure that, again, the target that the high focus person is working on, is working towards, is a valuable target that's going to help them feel joy when they achieve that, right? If we're obsessing over something that is not serving us, then that strength has definitely gone sinister. Okay. So another way that this strength can go sinister is that people around us can see our obsession with a goal as being uncaring about them. Suddenly we're not seen as somebody who cares about others. We can almost seem selfish. And so that is also an area where we have to be careful. But here's the real big way that this strength goes sinister. This is the one way that the person with high focus really gets hurt. It happens when they don't have a clear target to aim at. So understand, the most important thing, if you have high focus, is that you clearly identify what your goal is or goals are. So if you're an archer and you're shooting way down range and suddenly you can't see your target anymore, it blended into the background, or maybe somebody moved it, or it fell over, you're going to panic, okay? That is going to be one of the most stressful things you can endure in your life, is to be a person of high focus and not have a target to shoot at. So another more applicable or more real life example of this would be if you're a high focus strength person and you work for a job and you don't know what it is. You work in a career and you don't know exactly what your company's objective is, or maybe they haven't defined a clear objective. Maybe they're just trying to hold their heads above water and they're not really focusing on a plan. They don't have a direction. This is going to be hugely destructive to you as a person with high focus. You can't work in that environment. It's going to cause you headaches. It's going to cause you stomach problems. Literally, it's going to make you sick. So you have to make sure that you understand, if your company doesn't have a clear objective or what they're doing, or have a plan, you have to have your plan. You have to, at that point, say, you know what, right now I'm kind of working for myself here. I'm going to make sure that I'm hitting the goals that I set. And you have to be crystal clear as to what those goals are. Clarity on goals. There's not anything, I think, that's more important to a person with high focus than that. The more clear you can make your target, the better the better chance you have at hitting it dead center. And that is what is going to ultimately bring you the joy that you seek. So, how do we keep it? How do we keep this strength from going sinister? One, we have to make sure that we don't get that tunnel vision to the point we're obsessing over something that does not serve us, or that is ignoring other things and other people around us. We have to set some boundaries with that. We don't have to break our focus, but we do have to acknowledge that we are not the only things going on at this time. We have to be able to do two things at once here. Maintain your focus, but at the same time, be aware of what's going on around us. And the number two thing is make sure that your target is extremely clear. Make sure you know what you're going for. One of the things I loved about our strengths training when Kim and I became coaches is we spent a lot of time, very beginning of the course, what they talked about is being very clear about what objectives we wanted to hit with this course. We had to understand what was it that we expected this course to do for us. Being a certified coach, what did that mean to us? What would it do for us? And how would it change our lives when we accomplish that? And so that is kind of the thing that I would suggest for all of you, whether you have high focus or not, but definitely if you do have high focus. Make sure you know what you're shooting at, and make sure you know why that target is important to you. How is it going to change your life? And what would happen if you never hit that target? What would happen if you spent your whole life and never actually hit it? If it's a worthwhile goal, if it's a worthy target that's going to serve you, then you know that it would be devastating to you not to hit that target. And that's going to help you to stay on task. If it's something you're obsessing on that isn't really going to help you anyway, then you know you're probably obsessing about or focused on something you shouldn't really be focused that intently on. And it's time to change your focus to something that will serve you very well. All right. I think that pretty well covers the focus strength at this time. Let me know if you have any questions or feedback. You can always reply to this to any of these videos. And one thing I wanted to say real quick is that you may hear me do these videos and maybe you're saying, you know what, that's not how I use focus, or maybe that's not how I use this strength. That's okay, because a lot of it has to do with what domain is your primary domain. So a person with high relationship building strengths is not going to use focus the same way as somebody who is high influencing or high strategic thinking or high executing. So give yourself a break in there, and don't necessarily think, well, what Ron said in this video doesn't really affect me. I have the strength, but it doesn't sound like what the way I use it. That's okay. That's going to happen with a lot of these strengths, especially, I think, with these executing strengths. So give yourself a break and keep a little bit flexible with that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you next time when we're going to do one of my wife's favorite strengths. And until then, remember, inspiration starts here.